It's interesting to think that humans have probably been around mold for how many thousands and thousands and thousands of years? I mean, a long time. Why are we having problems with it now? It's kind of a good question. That's something that perplexes me too, because the general consensus on that in the environmental medicine community is it's a toxic burden issue, that there's just too much coming at us at any given time, and we're not really able to process those things as effectively or efficiently as we once were. It is possible with our new building, the way we build things now, that sometimes we're more prone to mold infestations and stuff like that too. But I would venture to say it's probably a little more complicated than the simple presence of the mold itself. But the mycotoxins are metabolites of each of the molds. Depending on the person and the mold and the toxin, they may have a different type of interaction with it. Some people are really good at getting rid of these things. I'm sure some of our parents have lived in moldy houses most of their lives and kind of gotten through. Some people just do that and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Other people just bioaccumulate like crazy. And a lot of the toxins are neurotoxic, so they affect the nervous system quite a bit. But they do, once again, starting in the gut, because usually you're inhaling it and swallowing some of it. It's going to contact the sinuses and the gut and that whole sort of axis one way or another. And then if it absorbs, it's going to start getting into the bloodstream and causing a lot more like neurovascular issues over time. So the way I see it, though, with its interface with a lot of other illnesses is that it's immune dysregulating, immune suppressive as far as that goes, directly toxic to certain tissues like mucosal tissue and different things like this. And it basically leaves you kind of open to other things getting in or being problematic in your system, like infections. So it's rare that I see a big mold case without some sort of infection interface. But if you go and just treat the infection first, especially if you're going to use antibiotics, you're going to have a very uh, unpredictable result. Let's just say that. So it's important to recognize mold when you're trying to interface with a lot of other illnesses that have been diagnosed. Like, is there mold in this equation? I've had some people that are so sensitized to mold that they have to either go above and beyond to remediate or change their environment in their home. What I mean above and beyond in some cases. And in really extreme cases, they've had to, move to Arizona or something. It's crazy. But there's an extreme, on both ends. Most people, if you identify it early, just like the Lyme situation, and deal with it appropriately, and then you can help desensitize it, they can dabble a little bit, because when in the winter we're all getting hit with ambient mold if we're in a wet environment anyway, outside. It's usually when you're in a box with it, practically like in your home, and you're just breathing it in at a high rate every day. That's when it really becomes problematic. But once it sets off the immune system, it is a challenge sometimes to get people back to zero if the environment isn't under some level of control.